Money in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of sun. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Big time, big time, big time.
Welcome to Fourth and Jawn, episode 236, and do we have a treat for you? We are talking the Eagles versus Bucs breakdown with the enemy behind the lines. Well, I mean, he's not exactly the enemy, but he does cover the team. He's a beat writer for PewterReport, and he's here to give us the scoop and the skinny for the Bucs. I mean, Evan. I mean, we don't really normally have guys that are behind enemy lines that can give us a skinny. Are you excited about this moment?
Of course I am. I mean, we welcome welcome fans of all walks of life at our tailgates, and I'm willing to, let loose and allow some opposing fans on our show. I need to find out. We need to get the inside scoop on Tom Brady, because there's no way that we'd have the ability to win this game unless we had a little bit of edge on him. So I'm excited to talk to him.
So we're going to welcome to the show. I mean, this guy. He's already been spicy pre-show. He's got a lot of energy. Welcome to the show, JC Allen. How are you today, my friend?
No.
This guy. Welcome.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Bringing the energy. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Good matchup tomorrow. I can't wait. Thursday Night Football. Get it done. Get it over with. The Bucs haven't been performing well on Thursday Night Football. Haven't been performing well in prime time. So definitely looking forward to this matchup. And I've got some thoughts on it that you guys might find interesting.
I like the sound of that personally, because that makes me think, because I feel like a lot of Eagles fans heading into this game, we're looking at the year that Tom Brady's having. I mean, man is 15-2 at touchdowns to interceptions right now, which coincidentally is also the same amount of touchdowns and interceptions he has versus the Eagles in his career. He's 5-2 versus us as well. He tends to have our number. We're 1-1 in the Super Bowl. We're pretty even split there. But yeah, Tom Brady, it's undeniable. Anybody that is still out there talking about the Joe Montanas, it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Dude's got 7 rings. You can't compete with that. Year 22. But you're mentioning how we're going to be surprised by what you have to say. So I'm kind of intrigued what you have to say.
Yeah, well, Brady, 2 of those interceptions actually are, one of them's caused by Leonard Fournette, who tipped the ball and was caused an interception. And the other one was a Hail Mary at the end of the half. So, I mean, really, does he have 2 interceptions? Yes, I guess so, but neither of them are throws that he made that were, egregious throws or anything like that. But you look at this matchup, for me, this is a game that I circled on the calendar as soon as it came out. I saw the schedule come out. I looked at the way it flows. The first thing I looked for was that Thursday game. Bucs struggled in primetime and all year last year until the playoffs, and those struggles have continued this year. Now they're 2-0 in their primetime games, but they narrowly beat the Cowboys and they narrowly beat the Patriots, both in those games. Last-minute field goals to win both of those games. So this is another game. You look back to last year's Thursday night game against the Chicago Bears, right? Everyone remembers the how many downs?
Yep.
We're talking about a short week here, which is bad for both teams, but specifically bad for the team that's traveling because they're doing their final walkthrough in a hotel ballroom, and there's no practice that's happening between these two teams leading up to it. They're not putting on pads. They're not risking that. They just played banged up. And you look at the opponents they played the last 3 weeks. The LA Rams on a West Coast trip. They go up to New England. A lot of emotion, rainy, very physical players. Tough, hard-nosed football. Then they come down back home this past weekend and play a Miami defense that, while they have regressed and obviously, things opened up in the fourth quarter, they're still a pretty tough defense to play against. And now in a short week, you're heading up to face the Eagles. And the Eagles, actually, surprisingly, one of the best things they do this year is take away the pass. I mean, they're ranked 3rd in the league, allowing only 194 yards. And it's not like they haven't played anybody. I mean, they played Dak in that receiving core. They played, obviously, I don't know if you guys want to talk about what Tyreek Hill did to the secondary, but they played Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. And, so it's not like, they're playing against slouches, but they're limiting, if a guy's going to go off, they're going to go off. It was Dallas Schultz in the Cowboys game. It was Tyreek Hill in the other game. So they're limiting the weapons around them, and they're pretty much saying, okay, we're going to take one of your guys away, or we're going to let one of your guys score and take everybody else away, and that has ups and downs for this team because the Buccaneers have so many weapons that Tom Brady can utilize. And the biggest thing that's going to help them if they are going to win this game, which I think they do, I don't think it's a blowout by any means, is running the ball. And of course, that is where Philadelphia has had extreme struggles, letting over 142 yards on the ground, ranked 30th in the NFL. But I don't think this game is a blowout by any means, because I think the things that the Eagles do well play into what right now the Buccaneers don't do well.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you brought up the running game of the Bucs as well, because that was one of the questions I kind of wanted to start with. Is just, I know last year Ronald Jones tended to be the lead back, and Fournette was kind of a little bit of an afterthought. Has he just grown in this offense and officially earned that role as the lead back, or is what's the deal there? Why has Ronald Jones seemed to take a back seat to Leonard Fournette?
Mental. I think it's a mental block for him as well. This is a guy who has worked his tail off in the offseason, and by all accounts, watching him in training camp, we thought that he would probably be the number one back, but pass blocking has continued to be a struggle, catching the ball, and just confidence. He had that fumble early and was benched after that in that first game, and never hasn't kind of rebounded since. He's not hitting the hole with authority that he can. He's still probably the best pure runner on this team. It's just there's something going on mentality-wise that he can't get over, can't get past, and Leonard Fournette is making the most of the opportunities. He's been catching the ball really well. His pass blocking has really, taken to the next level, and he's running the ball pretty effectively. So you look at the last two games, he had over 100 yards from scrimmage in both of those games. Utilizing him in both the passing and the running game is what's going to get him on the field. And unfortunately for Ronald Jones, that's just not something that, he's not multidimensional like that. They've used him in the passing game here and there, but when he's in the game, it's you pretty much know it's a run. He's not a 3-down back, and Leonard Fournette was a 3-down back. The year before he signed with Bucs, he had over 70 catches on the season. So he's just taking the most of his opportunities and seized it. And they're still using Giovanni Bernard and doing, Gio's doing Gio things that he's been doing throughout his career. He's a good pass blocker. He can get you some yards. Had a 17-yard run last weekend, and he's gonna do things in the air, catching the ball, and he's a smart guy like that. So Ronald Jones is just kind of falling out of favor.
I mean, rich get richer, man. Like when you got Gio Bernard, it's like, come on. Does Brady really need him as well? But just talk about the rebirth of Antonio Brown. Without the mustache. He the rebirth,
the blonde mustache.
I feel like you're talking about a veteran guy, right? You're talking about how he's matured. Like he's already a veteran, Hall of Fame type wide receiver, and he's had this rebirth with the Bucs and kind of just fell into his role. Now, what has Antonio Brown meant to the Bucs this season?
I mean, he's just been, there's no question his influence on the team, on the other guys in the locker room, and his play on the field. He's probably one of the top 5, top 10 wide receivers in football right now. The things he's doing, he looks like Antonio Brown of old. I don't know if you guys have watched him, but the way that he beat Xavier Howard on that crossing route and just turned up the Jets and for that 62-yard touchdown, finding the soft spot in the middle for the other touchdown, the things he can do. He's just so smart. He's arguably the best route runner in football. He's got soft hands. He's, quick in space and make quick cuts and his speed is still there as well. I mean, you got to remember this guy hasn't really played since week 17 or week 16 with the Steelers. He played in one game with New England. Then he played last year. He played in 9 games with the Buccaneers. So, and then had a full offseason, got knee surgery that he needed for a while. And you can tell the difference. I mean, Brady trusts him completely. They have this relationship that goes deeper than football. And, it's Bruce talked about it. The head coach, Bruce Arians, talked about it. He goes, okay, Godwin, you're going to man up on Godwin. You're going to man up on Evans. You're putting your third best cornerback on Antonio Brown. We're going to run that all day, baby. And, that's what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to run that all day.
Mhm.
The Birds
And
are probably going to try to stop Godwin and maybe matchups. Let Slay play man on Evans, and then Antonio Brown is still going to be there. So it's a difficult matchup, and I think that the Bucs are going to have success through the air. It's going to be targeting early Antonio Brown.
And if there's one thing that I look at the Eagles defense versus the Tampa Bay Bucs defense is that you guys actually respect the linebacker position. I mean, you guys got guys like Devin White, Levante David. I mean, those are two just unbelievable linebackers to have in your core. And we're sitting here kind of with our hands, we're sitting on our hands right now with our linebacker position. I mean, I'm looking at your tight ends. And so guys like Gronk, OJ Howard, first of all, that's a question I want to get to, but Gronk seems to have a resurgence. I don't know where this came out of, but like Gronk was a guy I kind of figured like was going to be kind of washed going into this year, and he seems to completely be the opposite. He's absolutely balling out right now. And what do you think is the cause of that resurgence? Is it just being with Brady and being a part of his work ethic? And also, how does OJ Howard still fit into this offense?
Well, Gronk is that CBD company that he started probably. I mean, the year off, letting all those injuries bang up. I mean, last year, you got to think for the first part of the year, getting acclimated to the heat, it's no joke. Richard Sherman said boarding the jet up to Philly. He goes, I thought it would cool down by now. No, sorry, Richard. It's not cooling down to at least December. You might get a 60-degree day at the end of November, but man, it doesn't cool down here that much. So, getting accustomed to that heat, and then also your football legs underneath them. Richard Sherman's going to the same thing, getting used to the heat, getting his football legs underneath him. And that's what Gronk did. We know the relationship that he has with Tom Brady. I mean, he's the type of guy who doesn't need to say words. You can just look at the play, look back at Tom, do a little shoulder or a little head bob, and Tom knows exactly what he's doing, where he's going with the ball, and you're going to find him. That's why they had 2 tutties to start in each game to start the season. Obviously, he's out this week with a rib injury. He'll probably be back next week after they have this mini bye. But OJ Howard, you brought up, is a guy who outsnapped Cam Brate this past week, but has still got a lot to work on. I mean, this is a guy, obviously, they took him in the first round, hasn't lived up to expectations. Injuries have played a big part of that. But also when it comes down to it, Bruce will praise his blocking, but he let up a sack last week. And, I think he needs to be more. This is his week, right? I mean, this is his week. He's got to make the most of his opportunities this week, because when Gronk comes back, Gronk is taking that starting spot. And unless they're going 12 personnel and, your second read or first read on that play, he's going to have a hard time accumulating yards and stats because he is in a contract year and he's making $6 million this year, and no one's going to trade for that contract. So, he's got a really big step ahead of him on what he's going to do, where he's going to play, what he wants to do with his career going forward. If is that stay here in Tampa Bay, is that go somewhere else? And if he's going to get paid anything more than the veteran minimum, he's going to have to go out there and perform. So this is a big week for him. He's got the tools. He's a Ferrari in a tight end. He can run the routes, he can do everything. Blocking needs to get better, obviously, pass blocking, run blocking for sure. But as far as playing the tight end position as a receiver, the guy's got all the tools. It just needs to be consistent with him.
From fantasy perspective, because I do own Gronkowski in fantasy, would you play out of the 2 tight ends?
No, don't touch those tight ends. Leave him alone.
Leave him alone?
No, leave him alone.
I did leave him alone. I picked up, what's his name? From Washington, their tight end.
Not Thomas. He's out.
Something Jones.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't.
All right,
I wouldn't.
So now that I've got that away, I'm
DFS.
being selfish and thinking about myself.
Yeah, maybe DFS. Go ahead.
So you're a guy who followed Brady from New England. You were in Tampa before Brady, so you're probably the catalyst for the whole Brady signing. Looking at the way our defense is set up. If you were Tom Brady, his skill set and his tendencies. If there was a couple areas in this defense that you would attack first, what would you be looking at?
There's no secret that Tom Brady, the best way to disrupt him is with pressure up the middle, and that's sending the guys that you have. It's not blitzing. Tom Brady has been phenomenal against the blitz this year. So, blitzing him, that Antonio Brown touchdown, the Mike Evans touchdown last week, both came on blitz where, they were closing in. Pressure was in his face. Giovanni Bernard, he was hit on those plays and stood in the pocket and made the throw. He's one of the best to ever do it at that. But, I think that getting to him up the middle, using a guy like Fletcher Cox, maybe using what's his name? Hargrave, yes. I was thinking Barnett, but he's out. Hargrave, to try to get pressure up the middle, make those offensive linemen work. Unfortunately, the offensive line has been phenomenal this season for the Bucs. So it's really, but any given play is any given play. And, it's going to be tough. Your corner is going to have to play, extremely disciplined. And I think you're going to have to try to shut the run down as best you can, because they're going to try to run it. And knowing that's been a weak spot of the Philly defense. So, if you got to make them more one-dimensional, you got to take away those weapons. Say, okay, you're going to beat us with Antonio Brown, beat us with OJ Howard, beat us with Cam Brate, beat us with Leonard Fournette out the backfield. Brady and the Bucs can do that. It's not the way they like to do it. They'll try to find deep shots to Mike Evans, and they'll try to find Chris Godwin in certain circumstances. You saw it happen last week, with Miami. Two of the best corners in the league, Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. They still found ways to get these guys open and get them the ball. So they're going to get them the ball. It's just, playing disciplined defense against Tom Brady. And, I think the secondary that Philly's got in place is going to be able to hold up. And like I said, I don't think this is a blow up by any means.
Absolutely. Interesting. So, JC, I hate to do this to you, but we're about to gang up on you. Going to bring in a third guy here, Jimmy Smith at On the Road to Victory. How you doing, Jimmy?
What's going on, gentlemen?
How are we?
We got someone from behind enemy lines, Jim. So, watch what you
see
say.
That. Hey, I like what JC's saying here. JC, very nice to meet you, man. Okay. I love what you're saying there, though. That my thoughts exactly on Tom Brady. I mean, you got to try to get pressure on him. We all know that. But if you blitz the man, you're going to find yourself in some trouble. So we need that pressure. So glad I jumped in right to hear that. Love what you guys are throwing out there. But thanks for having me, guys. Excited.
Absolutely. So JC, looking at the Bucs defense, it's kind of been a tale of two cities. You have the number one what's called Russian defense in the league, and you have the worst passing defense in the league. So while we have been bitching and moaning as Eagles fans for the past few weeks that we need to run the ball more, those stats kind of tell me that the way we win this game is through the air. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
We lose them?
I thought it was me.
Tampa Bay, man, they have lightning stuff. The weather is not always sunny in Tampa as well.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
This is true.
Sure. He was playing the music before he hopped on.
When JC unfreezes like Han Solo. We'll get him back.
I walked into, though, guys.
What's that?
I love what I walked into, though, what you guys were talking about. I mean, holy hell. We've got Tom Brady in front of us. So, I mean, we all know how we feel about old Tommy. Took us 13 years to get our revenge. But this is going to have to be a shootout, man. So excited to hear you guys talk about trying to get to Tom Brady. I was just talking about that not long ago, and that's exactly my point. You know what I mean? And what JC was saying there, you're going to get Tom Brady, man. So Cox, Hargrave, and, Milton Williams, would be great to see him step up. One of my hot takes for the week was Davian Taylor, man. He saw 24 snaps last week on Sunday. And prior to that, I think in week 2 and week 4, when he played, he only saw 9 snaps in each of those games. So starting to see those snaps, getting healthier, that calf getting right. We desperately need a nickel linebacker. So, hey, maybe he could be the miracle we need, because I heard JC talking about all the weapons they have. When you try to shut them down, that's when they hit guys like Giovanni Bernard, Cameron Brate, OJ Howard. So Leonard Fournette's going to have to be watching those tight ends and running backs. So let's have a huge game from Davian Taylor.
I mean, Davian, the fact that he's out there and playing and not straining anything, I love to see it. We're talking about a guy who we finally got a glimpse of something. I mean, we've also got a glimpse of JC.
Welcome back
in action.
So yeah, JC, you ended up getting cut off right as you were answering just about how the tale of two cities of what this team is on defense. So you were saying that the passing attack is going to be the way to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little skewed, those numbers. 32nd in the league. You look at that and you're like, oh wow, they really, they're having trouble against the pass. But the problem with that is those numbers don't really reflect what's actually going on. The Buccaneers are right around the middle of the league in passing yards per attempt. So
Okay.
I mean, they're not letting up these giant plays. They've only let up 5 plays of 20 yards or more down the field. The problem with that is they're letting up yak. They are last in the league with yak yards after the catch. They're having struggles tackling right now, open field tackling, gang tackling. Part of the problem too is they're going for rides. I like to call it. They've got one defender, maybe 2 defenders, and
Being carried.
They're being carried, so they're going for rides, and that's a big problem that this defense is facing. They're keeping everything in front of them. That's kind of what they're doing. They're not letting up the big plays, but they are letting up the big plays after the catch. And, they've have over 20 plays of 20 plus yards after the catch. And that's where those numbers are starting to come into effect. Plus you look at it, you're right. I mean, the number one run defense, they're only letting up 45.8 yards a game. Teams aren't running. They're just abandoning the run. They're doing it early. So the only way they're going to do it is through the air. So while, yeah, I mean, it's so funny to see that number, first in run defense, 32nd in pass defense. It doesn't tell the full story of really what's going on with this Tampa defense. Plus, you got to remember too, they're down, 2 starters. They were down 3 starters before last game as well. And Sean Murphy-Bunting, Carlton Davis, and now Antoine Winfield, another big loss, who will not play in this game tomorrow night. So, there's definitely some things going on there. The defense as a whole, last game they kind of turned it around a little bit and got after the quarterback. Same thing with the game against the New England Patriots, but they've been having struggles too getting home. And even last game, we counted 6 sacks that they should have had. Either Jacoby Brissett strong-armed his way out of them, or, they just missed the tackle in general for the sack. One sack that Levante David ended up getting credit for because he was pushed out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage actually should have been Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, but he missed it. So, playing this week against a guy like Jalen Hurts, who, has over 256 running yards, tied for 8th in the league with 3 touchdowns, he's a threat. I mean, he can break one out on you, and it's gonna make the Bucs defenders, that front 7, they're gonna play very disciplined in their lanes, because if you're going all out in blitz, which Todd Bowles loves to do, they blitz the highest rate out of any team in the league. You have to make sure you're disciplined enough to know that, hey, this guy can move and get out and run, and if we mess up, he's gone. He's gonna go. So it's gonna be an interesting test. I think this is the first real mobile quarterback player here. You can say Dak, but Dak was nowhere near what he's gonna, what he could be later on in the season. It's just still getting used to that ankle. First time playing, he wasn't really trying it out as much, but this is a guy who's gonna use his legs, who's developed a great relationship with his wide receivers so far. The young rookie Devontae Smith has over 300 yards passing, and Jalen Hurts, he's his passer rating's 93.3. He's shown out. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan, by the way. And he's got over 1,300 yards, through the air, 7 touchdowns. So, he's been dual threatish, you want to call it that. And I think that if you're the Bucs, you can't sell out, for the pass. You can't sell it for the run because they can beat you in the ways. Look at Myles Gaskin last week, 2 touchdowns. Didn't get the ball moving on the ground at all, but they were able to beat you through the air using that running attack as an extension of the run game, something that Tom Brady has built his career off of. Teams are now doing that with the screen passes, wheel routes to the running back, routes to the flats of the running back. So they're trying to use that and get mismatch in linebacker on the linebackers, and Devin White, who's kind of struggled in coverage so far this year. That's kind of been the case, the story for what they've been doing.
Same thing with Sirianni's offense. We as Eagle fans, this is the 5th game of the season. We don't really know what this offense is as of yet, or the identity of this offense. You talk about Jalen Hurts, his 6th offense that he's learned. Like, he's still learning the intricacies of where the back door is, where where he can escape. Just learning another offense. But I just overall he's had some some high and low moments this season, but overall, at the end of the day, utilizing his mobility has been huge. I really think, we'd love to see them come together offensively. I mean, because we talk about 3 quarters of offensive football from the offense, and you saw the grit, you saw the heart they showed in the fourth quarter to come back and get a win on the road, which was stellar. I do think that leadership does show through. I think it's, as much as the whole vibe that we're getting from Eagle fans, like it's up and down. Some are expecting to shock the world. Others are like, hey man, I'm selling my tickets right now. So this is a really, a big stage for them to, knuckle
Prime
up
time.
and really play on prime time and show what they got,
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
Absolutely. JC, we appreciate you hopping on, man. It's been,
Absolutely.
It's been a good conversation. I wish you were coming to the tailgate, man. I would have made you a cheesesteak personally. We got all the fixings that you'd need. But we don't
Next
have
season.
to exactly.
If they play each other next season, you know what? That just means the Eagles got to finish in first place. So got to knock them boys off. The rest of the division stinks. But if you can, get that first spot, I mean, actually, I think you might. Oh no, the schedule depends. You guys, I might be coming up there next year. Got to tell you guys to handle their business. But yeah, I've had a great time on here. It's going to be an interesting game. Bucs. We'll see how well the Bucs fans travel. They hate them. They still got visions of Rondé Barber high stepping.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to bring it up? Why'd you have to bring it up,
Hey,
JC?
Why are you bringing up bullshit,
closing
man?
down the vet, opening up the link with losses, so Bucs fans and Eagles fans, they got some bad blood. But I really think this is a game that's going to be a close game. It's a short week. Both of these teams have limited time to prepare. Both teams are banged up with injuries. Your offensive line is decimated. The Bucs secondary is decimated. So I think that, like I said, I circled this game early. The Bucs' history in primetime games, their history 4-8 record in Thursday night games. I think this is really a game that they could struggle with for sure. They have to give up strong tackling, not giving up yards after the catch, mental errors. It's going to be huge for the Bucs to win this game, especially on this short week. I think they'll be able to do enough to win a close one in Philly. And, with that, the bye, that mini bye, silver lining, but I think it's close. I think it's, my score prediction is 24-20, the Bucs. So I think it's a lot closer than what it appears to be.
24-20. I kind of personally see this one ending up as a shootout, quite frankly. I see it happening, man. Unfortunately, I see Tom Brady having his way with our defense. That's just the Tom Brady way.
Way our linebackers are set up.
It's going to be about establishing the run game early. Establishing the run game and making sure you find the open guy. No penalties, no errors. But guys, I had a blast coming on here. We'll have to do it again. If you guys do a post game, I'm down to come on or whatever. Maybe, who knows? Maybe Eagles handle their business and we're talking in the playoffs.
And then we'll be playing music for you as you're coming in.
Absolutely. With that said, guys, I'm going to head out of here. Appreciate it. I'll play myself out.
Hey, JC. Take it easy.
Thanks a lot, JC.
The time the gang sees the goat. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, man. Thanks for stopping by, dude.
Now I get the whole music thing. I didn't realize he had got you.
Shout out. Hey, someone's asking for tickets here. My guy. What's up, man? How are you? People are selling tickets.
Is that one of those things that is going on that the guy walks through the lot and he says, is anyone selling tickets, but really he's buying tickets or selling tickets? It's one of those things.
Looking for tickets? Hey, I got you. Oh,
yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
I've been duped there.
I don't know, man. I appreciate JC coming on, but it didn't make me feel any better about our chances. Tom Brady, man.
I like what he had to say.
I like what he had to say for sure.
I just literally got done doing my top 10 matchups, and a lot of what he said was what I threw in there. He talks about, that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You're looking at first and 32nd with the rush and the pass, but that's very skewed. They're the Buccaneers. A lot of teams have to abandon the run and try to keep up with them. So I think that regardless, we have to establish that effing run. I don't care if it's Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea there. You need to establish that run. And I love what he said about using the running backs out of the backfield like their opponents have done against the Buccaneers. They are an intriguing defense. They have a bad secondary because of a lot of injuries, but man, that front seven, they can destroy you. Sure, Levante David's out, but Devin White, he may have been struggling a little bit in coverage, but he's still going to be a beast. I mean, Shaq Barrett and JPP on the edges. So we got to use those backs any way we can. We're going to have to do all we can, Evan. Like you said, I agree with you. I think Shootout Central's coming.
Yep. You guys want to do score predictions, or are we not going to get the people disappointed?
I mean, first of all, is anyone going to give Chris some tickets? He's really looking to buy some tickets. So hook my man Chris up. Any guys that if you are going down to the stadium, we will be tailgating in lot G2, right.
Look at that guy with the spatulas.
Right on the corner over there on G2. You look for the flag. We will be tailgating. Thank you to Bud Light for hooking up the tailgate. Thank you for the tomato pies from Conchi Bakery. Those always are a good time.
Gail's unbelievable, man.
Evan will be making cheesesteaks. I'm trying to make Evan feel good.
That burger.
I mean, I'm just saying, like I slave over a grill the whole time, and then in the post, you're like, oh, we got tomato pies and beer. It's like Evan's just gonna be chopping away at cheesesteaks all night long.
Don't forget the burgers. Don't forget the burgers, because that burger was on point last time, dude. Oh, saved my life. Loved it. Thank you.
Big thanks to Lexi for bringing those.
Yes, thank you.
Talked about some of the predictions. Burbank gave it 21-19.
21-19.
Ooh.
I see it higher, man. I think I actually think both teams score in the 30s.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning like a 33-30 Birds lost personally.
I don't like to speak anything into existence, but we're just getting 35-21 vibes.
I was close to Evan. I feel like I want to change it now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to pick against my Eagles because I love them, but it's like, it's the Buccaneers, man. And this team is going through those growing pains. I'd love to sit here and tell you we're going to win, but it's quite the uphill battle, man. I'll go 30 or 34-30 is what I was going to originally say. I'll just stick with it, man. 34-30 Birds.
I'd be happy with that, man.
It's going to take a miracle, bro. It's going to take
a miracle. And dude, I talked about the tale of two cities with what their defense is. How about the tale of two cities with what their linebackers are versus our linebackers? Don't get me wrong. Alex Singleton has stepped it up. He's leading the team in the tackles right now. But if we're talking about Alex Singleton and, TJ Edwards versus Levante David and Devin White, that's two different animals right there.
I just look back at the film, you're just like, can anyone fill? Like, again, tackling 7 yards downfield. I'm like, like Davion Taylor did show some, I saw a couple plays where he got crafty and everything, but, just, I don't know, dude. That's just one thing that it's I get what it is, but now it's just year after year of like, might as well reincarnate Mark Semino or rather, like, him in the it's just like, Levante David's out, so he's not.
I was talking about their linebackers as a whole. I'm saying that their linebackers are.
One of the things I said earlier was literally, I love where your head's at today, because I said this is one of the games you're going to watch and you're feeling it in your heart. You're going to be disheartened because you're like, that's what linebackers look like. Now we know Levante David's out, but they still got Devin White, man. So even just having one stud that goes out there, and sure, he's had his issues with coverage. JC's got the inside scoop there. He's had some missed tackles, but he's still 10 times better than anyone we have. And I love my Birds, but I'm going to be real with you. We have the biggest hole at linebacker.
Shout out to Mr. Eifel. He says, I don't want to predict. I didn't want for the Panthers, just want a dub. I'm superstitious. I'm likewise. He says, I'm sending a virtual handshake out there. Because, there was a vibe where we were like, we're going to Carolina. And I did feel very confident that we win this game.
Yeah. But that could have just been the Southern hospitality getting in your head. It's like,
I'm not driving 16
these people are
hours for it.
nice. They're soft. Maybe
I'm
we could just
I'm not driving 16 hours for an L.
Nice kitty. Nice kitty.
I am not driving 16 hours for L. Like, there's just
No
something.
doubt.
You get this feeling, so, you know.
Can I tell you guys something? For the first game ever, I went in that morning, got out of the shower, was ready to watch the game, and I went, and I'm very superstitious, just to go off of the last comment there. I always have to wear, like, if the team we're playing is wearing a certain color, my boxers cannot be that color. They cannot, all these things. Like, I'm ridiculous. I tell you guys the NFC Championship story, making my niece take her purple toy out when we're playing the Vikings. It can happen.
So what if you're playing the Browns and you got a streak?
I ain't crapping. Okay. Yeah, well, the streaks, I guess we're just gonna have to learn how to wipe at some point. But no, I walked up and I looked in my dresser and I was like, you know what? Son of a bitch, you are 35 years old. This has not worked ever. Just grab something. I put it all on. And when I sat down to watch the game, I said, man, look at you go. After 35 years, you finally didn't have to do something weird for the game. Maybe we'll effing win one. So I'm going to try to stop being superstitious now, guys. And I didn't think that was possible.
Here's a stat. You guys want to see this stat?
Lay it on me. Wow.
When Gale and Prime go to road games, the Eagles are 2-0 this season. These are facts.
Those are facts.
I mean, Evan was on the second trip, on the road trip. So
yeah, I wasn't on the first one. No offense taken. No offense taken. I
so
wasn't on the first.
Make you feel left out. Yeah.
Hey, I haven't been to any, so. And it wasn't that I wasn't offered, guys. I'm not saying that. I'm just...
our old vibe is get in the car and go.
Love it.
That's what we do. We get in the car, we go. We drive.
Drive through the night.
I'm gonna be
fall asleep in diners.
I'm gonna be very honest with you. Like, I'm still feeling the effects of driving and road trip.
You got to get lazier like me, man. Just find a way to sleep until noon.
Like, I'm trying to catch
that
up.
shit right out, bro.
I'm literally trying to catch up with work and enjoy our birds at the same time. But sometimes, one has to slip, and maybe that's the work right now.
Right now.
Hopefully, no one I work with is watching. So I mean, overall, I'm excited. I just think the opportunity to watch from an NFL stand perspective, watch Brady live is always something. He is one of the best quarterbacks to play in NFL. You get a chance to watch a good quarterback play, a great quarterback play, you do it. But I'm up for as a fan, I'm up for the challenge. Like, I'm up to see, like, it's not impossible for our defensive line to cause havoc. You've seen what we've done with Fletcher Cox and Hargrave recently. I mean, that interior pressure is everything, and that's where Tom Brady hangs out.
Yeah, as a friend of the show once said, Brian Dawkins, he once said, "Press or bust pipes." So, yeah, I'll take the words from the man himself. The interior defensive line has been absolutely on fire though this year, to your point. But the thing that I fear is that, I mean, obviously that they're going to be trying to get through the entire time. But Brady does well against the blitz, man. He gets the reason that this man is still playing into his mid-40s is because of how quickly he gets rid of the ball. That's everything right now. So it's all about that coverage as well, man. I hope that our cornerbacks are able to keep up with just the endless weapons that Brady has at his disposal.
Don't worry, Charles. I will not. But yeah, man, I think that's the thing. It's like if you try to get pressure on him, I mean, they've got the backs they can dump it off to. Fournette, Bernard. They've got Bray Howard at tight end, and then we all know that's probably the best trio. So, holy shit! I mean, I'm with Gale. I'm excited. Evan, I'm with you on the shootout. I think I talked about this before the season. I'm just trying to go into every game and be like, look, we could probably lose this game. Let's be real with ourselves. I always try to trick myself. We can win. We win. And look, we can, but I'm just tempering my expectations this year, man. I'm trying to watch the growth, and what I'm trying to see is Nick Sirianni learning from his effing mistakes. Same for Jonathan Gannon. Looked like he did well last week, picking up where he left off with the Chiefs. So let's see this week Sirianni come up with a great game plan against Todd Bowles, because Todd Bowles will get your ass. So I'm excited just about watching these guys grow. What I don't like, I see all the chaos going on out there. I just want to give these guys some time. I want to see what they look like a few weeks from now, midway, and then I'll kind of have more of an idea. And then at the end of the seasons, when I can be like, okay, this guy sucks, or this guy just. But right now, I think people are jumping the gun a little bit. Let's just give these guys a little time. And against Tom Brady, what better test to find out what kind of heart you really got?
Mm-hmm. And versus this team's strong front seven, I mean, we've talked about the linebackers, we've talked about how good the defensive line is. It looks like Lane Johnson's going to be out again. What's your guys' level of confidence? Just with that, I mean, we all grew to love Mailata, and I mean, Dillard's been holding down his own on the left side. So, like, what's your guys' level of confidence versus this front seven with our offensive line?
I just think it's going to be a test to see where they're a litmus test to see where they are as players. You talk about our young players, dealing with like our interior offensive linemen, dealing with guys like Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea. Vita Vea is known to rip through offensive guards and throw them around. Like he can ragdoll some people. You know who Suh is, but JPP, a guy. He's a guy that can get to the quarterback, and again, didn't Barrett lead the league in sacks last year?
He was definitely close. He was up there.
Yeah, he was up there. He had that one game where he had like 4 or 5 sacks. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, that was insane.
Yeah,
he's got like 3.5 so far this year. I think they've got like 10
it's
as
like
a
half
unit.
as many as Hargrave, though. So
yeah, there you go. But like we were talking about earlier, you never know what you're going to get out of these guys. But I'm a little concerned. I love Mailata at left tackle. So glad we found him, a diamond in the rough. But what we talked about this year was, well, we always deal with injuries. So what if something happens? Can we see something from Dillard? Something we talked about a lot this offseason, where I was trying to explain, when I talked to the trainers there at the Bro Barn, what the name they brought up was Andre Dillard. And I was like, wait, what? Huh? And they told me, the players are really pumped about watching his success and how he's grown, mentally, physically. I was like, oh, okay. So started paying attention more. He definitely has had issues. I mean, the penalties, little things like that, but he's definitely improved. So that's a positive for us. We talked about keeping him this year for depth in case, well, thank God we have him. So for the future, it looks great. Hey, he's showing what he's got. Maybe he puts his value up. But right now, we don't know if the value is going to go down because we play Shaq Barrett and JPP. And at any time, those guys can go off. Mailata, love him at left tackle. He's better at right tackle than Dillard, so I get why he's there. I don't like that might hinder his growth. I just think he's good enough. But man, this could go bad.
There's Mora's comment. She says, speaking of Blaine, do you think he's having trouble getting motivated to play? I don't think it has anything to do with motivation. I feel like there's some personal matter that he's attending to.
Just eating away at him.
I think it's very serious in terms of if Lane can't give it a go, there is a really good reason.
Yeah,
why you can't go.
I mean, he's doing if he really does feel as if he's not going to be able to play 100%, then he's doing the responsible thing and not just forcing himself to go out there and either getting himself hurt or letting by a player and getting Jalen Hurts hurt. So while it does suck to have a guy who is an all-time Eagle just be out for personal issues, it's one of those things that I appreciate that he recognized the issue and he's handling it on his own pace.
I love it too. I love that we and you saying that and seeing the fans giving him love, showing support, because it's like these guys are human beings. And at the end of the day, we're cheering them on so they can give us pleasure, right? It's all based on them. So if he feels he can't do what he needs to do, then he's doing the right thing right now. And I understand some fans are pissed off, this, that, the other thing, but this is real life here, ladies and gentlemen. And what a weird game to be there with his trainer, chef, and something happens. And then it's like, Lane's family's not going to be here. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, what happened? So Gail was there when we were talking, and all we could say is just say some prayers for him, man. Give some good vibes for him. It's something personal, man. It's his problem. It's not our business, man. So all I can say is prayers up to Lane, man. And hopefully you get your mind right, your body right, your family's all right. Whatever it is, I hope the best to you and yours, man.
Yeah, I second that, man. You see fans you'll see the occasional fan say something snarky or say something. Again, it's I don't really ever fan please. I just watch and whatever. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of support for Lane out there. I know. I think it was Mike McVeigh on Twitter saying that put a post out there. If you got love for Lane tomorrow, wear a Lane Johnson jersey in honor of him. So I know I saw Gio out there. He's gonna wear his Lane Johnson jersey out there. I saw him post that. But I mean, overall, I feel like that's a vibe right now. Eagles Nation is backing off and letting Lane do what he needs to do to get back.
Back got him right here in the middle. You can see that the Last Supper there.
Nice.
Let me say it one more time. Oh, very nice. That's awesome.
I got it at the beach, man. You guys remember I did that show from down there that I just bought that day. I meant to show it off, never got to, but yeah, this is too much. I died.
The boardwalk has some real diamonds in the rough, man.
Oh, there were some ones I was like, I can't wear that.
Oh man, dude, I'm pretty wore out, but I'm very excited.
I was saying to myself,
Don't get
and, talking to Chelsea, I was like, man, I feel, the game just Sunday. I can't imagine how you guys feel. You had to drive there and drive back. Like, I'm still reeling from sitting on my damn couch watching it. So, have a heart. That's a heart attack game, baby.
Jimmy, let me tell you something, man. This guy, 45 minutes into an 8-hour ride, goes, hey, let's stop at some outlets. I'm like, bro.
Oh, no.
45 minutes.
Yeah, that was 45 minutes. We were still in North Carolina.
Oh, maybe that's why he wanted to get to the Carolina outlets.
When you gotta get the swag up, you gotta get the swag up.
The swag was achieved.
I
just thought of that Louis C.K. skit where he's talking about going to the Cinnabon at the airport you arrived at. It's like, you got food at home, bro. You got sweatpants at home.
Oh, meanwhile,
I told you guys I'm coming with, so you guys can just buy me an attire so I can start dressing better.
Meanwhile, Evan's buying shoes out here.
I got shoes.
We're trying to like coach him.
First time 2021
to buy the right.
That's
shoes.
what I need. Yeah, that's what I need.
That's what we're trying to do.
I've never been hip to that. That was never. It was never my thing. But I love how you guys always look. I'm like, damn, man. Like,
dude, I mean, Gale and Prime don't leave enough swag for me.
Really,
that's what it is. That I'm out here and I'm JC Penney swag.
I'm just the dirty hippie, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I should share it. Todd says we're getting old, Gale. Hollywood's still a young buck. Talk about get lazy like him. I got video of Hearn walking up the steps and looking like a 60-year-old man. I'm not gonna share it.
I was gonna say, let's see this.
It's now. I think now it's my favorite thing to do anytime I go to a game with Evan. I just want to film him walk up the stairs, and he does this like hunch thing, and then when he gets close,
I got a mosey,
and then he goes. It's
I thought it was gonna die last time I was going up.
It's the Hearn shuffle.
It is the Hearn shuffle. Yeah, that was passed down by my dad. He does the same shit.
I felt it too, man. I was like, you know what? I got some food. I think I'm going to stay here. I'm not going anywhere to the end. Especially with what's going on in the bathrooms. What the hell's going on out here?
Well, I mean, I'm surprised with the bathroom trips that I took that I didn't happen to catch that one in the stall. That was pretty wild.
I saw the video of that. I was like, is that girl of age?
I thought the same thing. I was like, dude, this dude looks like he's 30. That chick looks like she's a baby, bro. That story got much weirder when I got the closer view.
Talk about not having to walk more with a slight flex. She says, I'm glad I'm in the end zone for Chargers game.
Oh.
She's flexing out here.
She gets to walk down the stairs. Isn't that nice?
You can sneak me in your pocket.
Yeah, well, me and Prime will be in section 235. To secure tickets for that. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Okay. I don't just buy I don't just buy tickets because I think my team's gonna lose. I go in there.
Bro, could you imagine if we had season tickets? I don't understand those people. I get it. You have work or something comes up, you can't go to a game. But every time I see the people like, oh, we're losing, I'm selling my tickets. I'm like, are you shitting me? I can't. I I'd go to every damn game I possibly could, man.
Man, I got people that I know. I'm not gonna sell them down the river here, but they got season tickets, and all they do anyway. They used to leave at halftime,
Ugh.
and now they don't even go into the game. They sell their tickets every time, and they just tailgate and head on in. Which, I mean,
Charles says, let's
to
put
each his
Brady
own,
in the
man. To
bathroom.
each
But
his
how about
own.
we put your friends, your unknown friends in the bathroom? How about
Hey,
that?
Let's
Yes,
just
we're
say
putting
let's
them
just
in.
say they're a plug for the tailgate. So don't want to really hurt them.
Oh, jeez. I mean, just.
Must be nice to have that luxury.
I mean, overall, I mean, let's give our last word. We'll start with Jimmy. Last word before we get out of here.
Going to be a very tough matchup tomorrow. But once again, I'll harp this all year, man. Let's just get behind our young guys and let's hope that we're building the right way toward the future. This is a huge game. Gail had mentioned earlier. What a big game for these young guys. Imagine going to bed tonight. We're going against Tom Brady, the Super Bowl defending champs. This is your time to shine. You know, those young receivers are looking to make a name for themselves as a beat up secondary. I know it's probably a game where you might think you'd shy away from the run. No, establish that damn run. I hear people all the time, establishing the run isn't a thing. Sure, dude. Go out and throw the ball a million times and see how it works. Ask Nick Sirianni. It doesn't run the ball. So I'm hopeful that we can put up some points, but I'm not going to be mad if we lose. I'm going to be mad if we don't fight and we don't adjust throughout the game. So Nick Sirianni, come out with a good game plan. Jonathan Gannon, do all you can. I'm not going to be mad at you if you get beat up by the GOAT, but at least give us a little bit of fight, man. I'll go with that Davian Taylor again. I just feel that this is a huge game that we could really use him. They're going to try to establish that run, and if they do their play action, Tom Brady will destroy you. So Davian Taylor, would love to see a huge game for you. All I want to say is anybody that's going to the game, enjoy yourselves, man. You're getting to watch a great game. Get behind our guys. Let them know. And make sure you stop by that 4th and Jawn tailgate because each one I've been to so far has been nothing but short of amazing. And, dude, look for the flag. I've literally, everyone I've ever told that, they're like, oh, just look in the sky. It's like Batman there, baby. So have yourselves a great time. Enjoy the moment. Watch Jalen Hurts and these young guys grow together, and maybe we sneak out a W. But I love you all. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. We are almost to 1,000. We would truly appreciate you guys helped us out there. But thank you so much for tuning in. Love you all. And of course, go Birds!
Yes. I mean, it's hard to follow that, honestly. I mean, Jimmy pretty much hit all the nails on the head there. Stop by the tailgate, like he said. And quite frankly, I mean, we talked with JC earlier today. He's talking about how we can make this Bucs team one-dimensional. It's going to be tough to do, man. It's really going to be a hard thing to get behind, especially with how strong their run defense is. But I would love to see just us working the ball, get Miles Sanders to the outside, give him some more touches, establish the run, get the play action going, pre-snap motion, the whole shebang. That's the way that we'll be able to win this game, but it's ultimately going to come down to it's another one of those games, I think, that it could come down to whoever has the final possession is going to end up being on top. And the last person I want to have the ball in their hands with the time ticking away is Tom Brady. That's the last guy I want to have. The dude is absolute clutch sauce, man. But just reiterate, stop by the 4th and Jawn tailgate. Hope to see you all there. And thank you for tuning in.
You just mentioned Tom Brady. A friend just randomly texted me and just said they bumped into Tom Brady in an elevator at the hotel.
It's a shame if they accidentally
And
spilled
had
some
a
hot coffee
awkward
on his
exchange
hands.
of
Or
like,
drop kicked him.
that's fun. That's funny.
Would you say go Birds to him? Because I'm all day. That
I'm
person.
about to get. I'm
without
about to get this skinny on what happened. Because that's a funny story. Because a friend of mine, their buddy was the guy down in Tampa who lived next door to Byron Leftwich, and he was in his house, and Tom Brady decided to show up in his kitchen, and Tom Brady is in his kitchen, and he's looking at Tom Brady in his kitchen. He says, Tom Brady, can I help you? And he's like, yeah, is Byron here? And he's like, no, he lives next door.
Tom Brady.
Remember you called me and telling me
in a
that.
breaking and entering.
So here he is, with Tom Brady in his kitchen, and
A cheater and a thief.
Yeah.
so it's
criminal,
funny.
man.
Dude. It's funny. I mean, that's a great story. But,
That is.
Joan says, hope to make it to 4th John tailgate after Christmas. Tom, terrific going down. I believe. Charles Craig says, I wish I could be there. Let's make that happen.
Are those gang signs?
Tim's a little anxious for tomorrow. That's F and go. This
My
is
man.
gonna drop kick.
That's a top rope drop kick.
Hey, hopefully we see Chris down there tomorrow. But overall, I mean, Marcus asked me, did Prime get grounded? Just taking care of the kids, man. Taking care.
He's grounding children.
Wu-Tang loves the children, okay? And so does 4th and John. But I mean, overall, man, I'm just excited for this opportunity to see. It's always a litmus test. You want to go up against one of the best teams. You want to be a good team in the league. This is your opportunity to show the world on primetime television what you're made of. You saw what you're made of in the 4th quarter last week. Let's see what you are made of on Thursday night football. So we're wearing green and white outfit.
Duh.
Green tab.
Uniform.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if we pulled out the black uniforms. That would have been nice.
Like 5 out of 6 times we've worn that green jersey, white pants this year. It's like, damn. I like the black.
Always bet on black, they said. But I'm still, regardless of what people say, I'm still gonna bet. I'm gonna still bet on the Eagles. I'm gonna be there. Brian's gonna be there. We're all gonna be rooting on our Eagles. Evan's gonna be making cheesesteaks. Jimmy's gonna be getting loud. So just rep your birds. We will see you guys soon. And as always, it's fly, Eagles, fly. Oh no! Wait. Let me stop. Let me remind you that we just interviewed Brian Dawkins. Go check out that interview. That's a great interview. If
Bobby
you want to
Taylor,
be
too.
inspired, check that interview out. We also interviewed Bobby Taylor, the legend. So I mean,
Surprise, motherfucker.
I had to plug the Bobby Taylor interview because he was awesome as well. So make sure you go check out those interviews. They were great. That's all I have to say.
That was the
I had to
best
get that off my
placement.
chest. But as always, fly, Eagles fly, and we'll see you guys in the next one.